Hello, hello, lovely people. Good morning and welcome to our beautiful morning together. It's so good to see all of you coming in. And I'll be standing here by the door and allowing everyone in. So while we are getting started, you can maybe share with us in the chat. How are you feeling this morning? Are you ready for a beautiful celebration with DebS? I am, and I'm looking so much forward, and it's beautiful to see how many of you are coming in live to be with us. And wow, what a joy. This will be a beautiful morning. And I'll just be here by the door, so you can share with me in the chat. Do you have anything to cheer in? Did you bring a coffee, a tea, or maybe some bubbles? We would like to hear that. Oh, I see some good cups there. Looks amazing. And it's morning, but you could actually have some bubbles also, right? Ooh, we have some coffee going on. And also, I would love to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from? Where are you coming from? Because I'm sure that we are from many different countries. Maybe most of you are from the UK, but I also know that we have people coming in from different places in Europe, either here or in the replay. And oh, so good. Oh, we have someone coming in from Egypt. How amazing is that? I love that. So we'll just give people a few more minutes before we get started for real. And welcome to all of you coming in now and in the replay also. Welcome to all of you. This is such a joy. And oh, I love to see your comments. There's someone coming in. We have Tora from Oslo. We have Julie from UK, Adrian from France, Sandra from Egypt, Beate from Germany. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. And maybe more that I didn't see. Please share, all of you, in the comment field where you're coming in from and how you're feeling this morning. Are you feeling ready to have a beautiful party with us? Oh, it's so good that you are sharing. And wow, so many are coming in live. I'm so happy to see you all. Some of you I know from before. Some of you are beautiful new faces. And I'll tell you a little bit about myself also in a moment. We'll just allow everyone in. Make sure that I have opened the door for everyone. Oh, so good to see that you have prioritized to come and be part of this beautiful, beautiful morning. So we will just make sure that everyone has muted themselves. Let's see. For the sound quality, maybe I can do that. Yes, I can do that. So hello everyone, and thank you for sharing in the comments. Yes, I know that I'm going sideways sometimes. It's because of the technique here, so I'm dancing a little. And hello from Denmark. Oh, so good. Thank you all for sharing. Now, my name is Eva Andrea, and I am a Danish writer and writing mentor. And I have had the joy to follow DebS in her journey with writing this beautiful book. So it's such a joy that she asked me to be her host for this private launch party. And I can't wait for us to hear much more about this amazing book that DebS has written. And you know, I read many books and manuscripts from all over the world, and there's just something very special about DebS' book. You know, she reminds me of, if you can imagine, like this mix of Elizabeth Gilbert from Eat, Pray, Love. Some of you might know the movie or the book. And also a poet like Rupi Kaur, that some of you may know, or this beautiful poet from UK that is called Pam. you know. I'll just open my notes here so I can see everything. Yes. So, you know, Pam Ayers, some of you may know. I don't know if I say it right, but, you know, DebS has this voice of very down to earth, very funny sometimes, very relatable, and so vulnerable and raw. And the way she invites us into her heart in this new book is amazing. So I just can't wait for all of you who haven't read the book yet to get to read it. Please put in the comments if you are looking forward to read this amazing book. Put some hearts in the comments. I will just say to you, you have something to look forward to. And it's so open heart, so beautiful, and so courageous, this story. So, wow. Now, in a little moment, we will invite DebS in with us all, right? But I want us to do a little something. I would like you all to find the mic button on your screen. Can you see if you're on your phone, you just click on your screen, and then the mic button comes up in the line below the video. And when we click that, we can all hear each other. And I think it would be so beautiful to just say good morning, and then we will all say congratulations at the same time to DebS and invite her into our beautiful circle. Are you with me? Should we try to do that? So I will count to 3, and then we all press the mic button and say good morning. First, we just say good morning. 1, 2, 3.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh, you're so good. I love this. And then we will just all say congratulations all together. Okay? 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations.
Welcome, DebS. Welcome, DebS. And everyone, make sure you have clicked the mic again, so you have muted yourself again. And let's see if we have DebS with us on the screen.
I'm here. I don't know if you can see me.
We see you now.
Oh, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I think it's just a beautiful number because I can see everybody on my PC screen. So I think it's the perfect number of people. Otherwise, I'd have been having to scroll sideways to see everybody that's here. Oh, such an international crowd. Who knew?
I know. It's beautiful. How does it feel to see all these beautiful faces, DebS?
Oh, I have to say, when I was had my video off, I've had a little moment. In fact, I've had a big moment. Yeah, my heart is pounding, and yeah, I'm close to tears because it's means an awful lot to see people here supporting me, and yeah, thank you. Soften and flow. Yes, thanks, Sandra. my other half was downstairs. He said, just go outside, breathe, tap, take some of your own medicine.
It's beautiful. I love that, DebS. So, and I can just imagine. Yeah, I can just imagine how much it must mean for you to see all these beautiful faces and feel the support and love from your tribe, right? It's beautiful.
Yeah, it does. It's wonderful. From all walks of life and from all different parts of my life as well. It is very, very special. So, sorry. I'm not on the tea this morning. I'm on the water. Thank you very much.
Oh, maybe we should just all cheer with DebS.
Yeah, might have something a bit stronger later.
Cheers and congratulations,
yes.
Love. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful day. This is your day. And before we go into talking more about your book and how it came into being, it will be beautiful for us to maybe just have a little sneak peek, a little feeling of the book. So how do you feel about reading a little piece for us? And maybe you can say a little about which part you want to read and why.
Yes, yes. I mean, obviously, this is all about the book, and I'm going to give you a few snippets as we go along this morning. So I thought, what a better place to start than the very beginning, as that very well-known song goes. It's a very good place to start. So I'm going to start with the prologue, and I'm just going to share the screen, though, so you beautiful people are going to disappear, because Mary will know this. I was very blessed to be part of a lockdown group called Creativity Unleashed, where we were asked to do a project by the wonderful man who is Bruce Cryer, a beautiful human being. And he sparked a creative side in me that I hadn't really thought of before. So yes, I'd done the writing, but part of the project that I did was to put some of my photographs to the part of the book that I read out. So I'm going to do that a couple of times today. I'm going to share some photographs as a little presentation to go alongside the words. So hopefully you'll see them all and you'll still be able to see me. So just bear with me 1 second while I sort out the technology.
It's very beautiful, DebS. I love that you use all your gifts in such a lovely way.
So there we go. Well, this is what comes from being an IT tutor many years ago. It has its benefits. So this is from the prologue. And as you can all see, the book is called The Day I Didn't Kill Myself. And these are the Brecon Beacons, which is where a lot of the book is set. Drive over the edge. Go on, drive off. No one's going to miss you. Nobody cares. Nobody loves you. With no warning and out of nowhere, these words jumped into my head. I was travelling through the beautiful Brecon Beacons, the majestic mountains of mid-Wales. In the peace and tranquility of the surroundings, those words resonated, resounded, and reverberated around my brain, screaming loudly, commanding and insistent. It was one of those surreal moments in life where time seemed to both slow down and speed up simultaneously. Tempted, I glanced down the steep, sharp drop, and I drove on. I have no idea what date it was, nor the time, but what I do know is that it was the day I didn't kill myself. And there's a poem in this part. This poem is throughout the whole of the book. This one is called Beacons of Hope. The beacons always beckon outside the town of Brecon. High mountains for some to climb, fresh air with no hint of grime. A sight for eyes that are too sore, views that are to die for. A phrase too often used, words I no longer abuse. Because of my suicidal thought, a potential action I did abort. With my depression I couldn't cope. Somehow the beacons gave me hope. Did the beacons give me some element of their strength, power and magnificence? I'll probably never know. But what I do know is that I didn't take heed. I ignored that voice. I drove on across the beacons. I kept going. Those words shocked me to my core. Those words were echoing around the empty chamber of my head. But I didn't drive off. Those words kicked me into action, not into touch. Those words made me realize I needed saving. Most of all, those words that arose unexpectedly from the depths of nowhere made me realize that I needed to get help in order to help myself. How my brain made that logical connection at a time when it felt as if it was barely functioning, I don't know. Did I have a guardian angel who lived in the beacons, or one that came with me everywhere I went? I've never been particularly religious, but I thank God, or whatever energy it was that guided me to stay on that road.
Wow. Oh, how beautiful, DebS. Thank you so much. And I love the pictures. What a beautiful, beautiful experience. Can you put a heart in the comments if you could feel this? Oh, we have tears and many hearts here. Thank you so much. And this is the beginning of a very powerful journey that this book takes us through, right? Thank you, all of you, for your comments to DebS. And wow, we'll just give a little moment for people to share their experience before we go on.
I do promise the rest of the book isn't as deep and as emotional as that. It does get lighter, I promise.
Yeah. But it's so beautiful that you take us all the way, because we have all experienced pain in different ways, and that is what makes this book so relatable, you know, that you're so open-hearted about the human experience also, and all the healing. Thank you, everyone, for your comments, and welcome to all of you who are coming in. We have just had a beautiful reading, and now it's time for us to talk a little more into the journey of writing this book. So, first of all, DebS, I know that it's 1st of April today, and you chose this date for a very special reason. Can you say a little about that?
Yes, I will. A few people, lots and lots of people have said, oh, it's a Friday, I'm working, I can't make it. But this date is a special date. I must admit, when I made a mistake, I thought it was a Saturday when I first chose it. But yes, this would have been, well, it is my mum and dad's wedding anniversary. Unfortunately, our lovely dad isn't here with us, but I know he'll be watching from over there. But my lovely mum is, with my gorgeous younger brother, and I think his fiance was there as well. Yeah, hi, Kate. So yeah, it's lovely. The rest of my family are pretty much working. My other brother's girlfriend is here somewhere. She's been poorly, so oh, hi, Ju. So yes, it was a difficult date to choose, because from a marketing point of view it wasn't great, but for me it's more about the emotion and it's more about the heart. So it wasn't about getting numbers here, it was about actually celebrating mum and dad, because obviously without them I wouldn't be here. So yes, it's a tribute to both of those. So yeah, thanks, Mom.
What a beautiful symbolic thing to do. I love that. And can we see the baby? Can we see the book?
Wow.
I know you've had some fun.
There's a bit of a story here. Yes, you can see the book. Here it is.
Oh,
with its spine, with its back. But I will admit to you that the inside is Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, for those of you, because I've had some horrendous problems these last, so I'm sure Eckhart Tolle won't mind me borrowing his insides. But yes, I've had some pretty horrendous problems with the cover designers for the last 2 weeks, and I literally only had the cover yesterday. So it's going to take a little while before it's actually available, but I didn't want to cancel. I thought, let's just go with it anyway. But
I love it.
I managed to print it out myself, so I think it's probably slightly more muted than it'll be on the actual physical book once it comes. But Eckhart Tolle's book is about the right size, so good old Eckhart. And it's all
so
about the power of now, and we are in the now, here and now here.
Oh, it's beautiful, DebS, and it's so much in the spirit of April Fool's Day also.
Yes.
So I mean,
yeah,
everything is aligned.
Actually, there's no book. This is all a complete April Fool. Bye.
Don't you all love DebS' humor? I love the way you dance with life, DebS. It's beautiful and very inspiring, and you're creative, right? So, wow, I think people love the book, and you can get a feeling of it now, right? So. Can I ask you, DebS, you know, from the beautiful start that we just heard a little from, you went on a deep journey home and to heal yourself, right? And how did it feel for you to write so openly about your journey as you have done in this book?
It's an interesting question, because the actual writing of it was quite easy. So that the words flowed. Obviously, it's my story. I knew it. So the actual writing about it, I didn't have to sort of come up with a plot or anything like that. So in that respect, it was relatively easy. And I actually had the first draft in about 2 weeks, I think. But once I sort of read it, and I gave it to my mum to read, and then I reread it, and I realized that actually there was an awful lot of linking between the feelings that I had after the divorce and going through the depression to events that happened when I was a child. And it actually drew my mum and I closer, because my mum had different experience, but had also gone through depression, baby blues as it was called back then. And she had issues and was actually taken away. And the emotions that arose from being a 5 or 6 year old child and suddenly having one of your parents not there anymore were very similar. That bereftness, that feeling of abandonment almost, even though I wasn't being abandoned, that's what it felt like. That's how I felt after the divorce, after going through the divorce. It's the feeling of not being lovable, not being loved. So I found an awful lot of links. Now, obviously, they're not truth, because the truth is I was very loved. I am very loved. I am lovable. But the reality of it makes you feel like that. And of course, when you're a 6-year-old child, you don't have a manual. So you just go with whatever feelings come up. So yes, there was a lot of deep emotion that came up, and I'm really thankful that I am a therapist and have lots of tools in my toolbox, as well as learning many others over the last few years, a lot of which have really helped. I mean, Sandra is one of my former tutors, and there are many therapies, energy release therapies that are available that can actually let these feelings go. So I had a lot to work on, and that has been very, very releasing. It's been very freeing. And I certainly know that I'm a completely different person now than I was when I wrote it 2 years ago, to how I was certainly when I was 6 years old, but also to the adult that I was going through divorce and depression. So yes, it brought up a lot of things that needed looking at and releasing.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And it's beautiful to hear. That's often something I hear and have experienced myself as a writer, that writing is deeply healing when we allow ourselves to go into the process of being written almost by our own story. So thank you for sharing that perspective.
Yeah.
Can I ask you?
Sorry, go on. I was just going to say it was really cathartic, really cathartic. Yeah. And I would urge anybody to write if they can, or speak it out into it. And then if you don't want to do anything with it, it's fine. It gets it out of your system.
Exactly. I know. It's beautiful. And was there a certain moment when you knew that this book wanted to be written? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think, again, a lot of the things in the book I write about are all the synchronicities. A lot of people will call them coincidences. I don't believe there is such a thing as coincidence. Lots and lots and lots of synchronicities. And I wasn't intending to write a book. I'd been writing poetry. Poetry has been coming through me. And I don't know if not everybody knows, but I run toenail cutting clinics in the little county of Carmarthenshire here in southwest Wales. And one of my clients, a new client, had come in. So there's a little place called Ferryside. And as you do when you meet somebody new, what do? I guess you're retired. And he said, I write books. Oh, right. Okay. I'm very impressed straight away. And anyway, to cut a long story short, we carried on chatting, got on like a house on fire. I met up with him and his wife for coffee. Lovely, lovely man. And I said, and he said, well, have you written a book? I said, well, no. I said, but I do write poems. I said, and I've recently written this one called The Myth of the Welsh Dragon, which I think is really, really good. And I don't normally say that about my things, but I did feel that it was really, really good. And he said, oh, will you send it to me? So anyway, I sent it to him, and then the next week I had an email back, and he had illustrated it.
Oh.
And I didn't know he'd done illustrations. He'd lent me his book. He'd done all the illustrations as well. So very, very clever man. And he just said to me one day, he said, well, what about other poems? And I said, well, I don't share those really. Well, would you? And I said, well, okay. So I sent him a few others, and he said, well, you really need to get these out into the world. And I was like, do you know what? I wouldn't buy a poetry book, so why would anybody else, you know? And he said, well, what's your story? And I didn't really understand what he meant. I really didn't. I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, when did you start writing poetry? And I said, well, when I was depressed. I can't remember writing poetry ever before that. I'm sure I did English to A levels. So I'm sure we must have, but I can't remember doing it. He said, well, there's your story then. And it was at that point, and the gentleman's name is no longer with us. Unfortunately, he passed away during lockdown. But I felt like I'd been touched by a light, and actually that is his surname. It was Brian Light. And I do feel like it was almost like he just sparked the idea. And once I had that idea, it was, okay, let's do it. And then another synchronicity was at almost similar time, I came across a group called Write About Me locally, and I joined them. And then it was sort of, it was like a big snowball that rolled, you know, and I was invited to Poems and Pints, and yeah, lots of different things happened. But it was that one moment where he said to me, that's your story. So that was the starting point. I
sit here with full body chills. How beautiful is that? It's and that you were touched by the light.
Yeah, you know, looking back, I think that's what I feel like. You know, I didn't even see the coincidence until I was doing the thank yous. And even though he's no longer here, I've mentioned him in the thank yous. And it was at that point I just thought, oh my God, like by name, like by nature. And yeah, that's exactly how it feels.
So sweet how things are coming together like that. And it sounds like an earth angel you met there. So in this book, you are very vulnerable and open-hearted and courageous. But can I ask you, which chapter do you feel took the most courage of you to write and to share?
Well, that's quite an easy one. Yeah, there was a part of my life, that part of my life that I'm really not proud of. And the chapter's called Dazed, Devastated, Desperate. You'll notice there's a lot of alliteration in the titles of my chapters, and they all begin with D, and I don't know how that happened, but it just did. Yeah, there was a time in that period where I was so needy for love that I ended up having relationships that were completely inappropriate. And I didn't know whether to put this in. I wrote it and I took it out and I put it back in because it's life. It's part of the journey. I'm not proud of who I was back then. I don't even recognize who I was back then, to be perfectly honest. But it's real. And a lot of other people go through it too. And a lot of people get hurt by it. And, you know, I'm a carer. I care about lots of people. But at that time, it was like all I could care about was me. But you know, that was it. I was the total main focus, and all I wanted was to be loved. I didn't care where it came from. So, yeah, that was definitely the hardest one to leave in. I was going to say it was the hardest one to write. It was fairly easy to write, but I did take it out and then I put it back in. I think that's probably the most courageous part for me, really. Because it's really showing the not the nicest side of me.
But thank you so much for sharing this. And you know, I think we all have things in our lives that we have experienced or had to live through that we are not so proud of, or that we can feel shame about, or that we can feel guilt about. So for you to be so open and just share that is deeply healing also for the reader, I believe. And the way you do is so beautiful. So So thank you for that. It's a gift to the reader that you are giving us here. So yeah, I just really honor your courage. And can I ask you, what are you the most grateful for, or maybe proud of, as you're sitting here today now and have come so far with the book?
Well, there's quite a lot of things I'm grateful. I'm grateful every single day. I mean, that goes without saying. I practice gratitude every morning, every evening, purely just for the fact that I'm here. And I think writing the book has reinforced that, because it made me realize that I might not be here, you know, and all the beautiful things that have happened in my life. And, you know, just waking up in the morning, having the sun shining, you know, even if the sun isn't shining, it's waking up in the morning and I'm still breathing, you know. I have so much to be grateful for. But I suppose what the thing I'm most proud of, Mum will back me up on this one, is actually I finished it. I started something and I finished it. Yeah.
Yay. Let's all put some hearts for that.
I'm quite notorious for starting lots of things and not necessarily seeing them through. So yeah, and it's taken 2 years as well. And the last couple of weeks, I did feel like just jacking it all in, to be perfectly honest, with the hiccups that have happened. So, but yeah, it was so close. There's no way I was jacking it in this time, but yeah, it is. I mean, you know, I only wish this was the real thing, because I think I'd want to keep rubbing it, you know, like a magic lamp. But when I did this last night, actually, I did have a little tear, because it does feel real. So God knows what it's going to be like when the real ones come through the post. I'm probably going to be in floods. There'll be floods in Llangennith. But yeah, I think that's probably what I'm most proud of. How healing it was, the fact that I finished it, and really, I just hope, beyond hope, that it's going to help other people, you know, and for that, if I just help one person, I think, you know, job done, really.
Oh, that is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's a beautiful way of coming from love and serving love with your story. And I love all the hearts in the comments and how people are feeling you. You're so relatable, DebS. It's so beautiful how you're sharing. Thank you, everyone, for your beautiful comments. And you know, I'm curious just to go a little into the poetry part again, because poetry is part of the book in a beautiful way. It's kind of weaved in the chapters when it's kind of ringing with the chapter, right? And you maybe touched a little bit on it, that the poetry started especially after the depression, or in the depression time. But how do you go on writing it? How does it happen? How does the poetry happen? Can you take us into that a little bit?
I'm actually going to read you a poem that actually describes how it happened.
Oh,
but I will just sort of flesh that out a little bit. It just comes. I have the only way I can probably describe it is it comes when I'm empty. So when my mind isn't full of busy life, and generally that has been, historically, it's been sort of 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And I went through a period of about 3 months, I think it was, where it was just prolific. And that was the last year, I think, or the year before. But it originally just started as with the depression almost. And the very first poem was, it was really miserable, but it was also of gratitude. It was thanking Mum and Dad for being there for me. But the very, very strange thing is it just appeared. It just appeared one night. I was staying at theirs and I had to write it down. And it's full A4, rhyming couplets, and that is nearly how all my poems come. However, I will say that once I met Chris and my life was just full of love and happiness, I didn't have a poem for years. It was just almost as if they seemed to express themselves when I need to. But the difference now is that For instance, we were talking about possibly me doing a poem of thanks for later on to thank everybody. And this morning it was there. So a seed can be sown now about what I might want to write about, and then the poem will come. But it's always, nearly always rhyming. I have done a few that aren't, and I would like to explore actually doing different types of writing, but that's for the future. So I'm going to read you Poetry Diarrhea, which will tell you how they come. When someone has something to say, they usually speak it in words. I suppose some may write it down as a song for pop stars to sing, not for the birds. But for me, this so does not happen. Mine are all coming out in rhyme. And lately, just like diarrhea, it's happening all of the time. I'm not sure what's happening to me. Is this a blessing or is this a curse? To be waking up every morning with all of this rhyming verse? And it's disrupting my usual sleep patterns. So tired now I'm starting to be. This week in the early hours of the morning, each dawn I've been able to see. The moment my brain comes awake, in the early wee hours of the morn, a spark of an idea, just a couple of lines, and then suddenly a poem in full form. My brain, it appears, is overloaded. Words in verses, they just keep on coming. And I have to get up and write them all down till my fingers and hands, they are numbing. I'm curious as to where they come from. I'm pleased, but at the same time, I'm not. It feels like they come straight through to my pen. Is it a talent or is it really all rot? I don't know if they're suddenly going to stop like they did back many years ago. Maybe they will, or maybe they won't. At this point, I really don't know. So for now, I must make the most of my time with this condition of poetry diarrhea. As long as the words come from my head to my pen, and they don't start coming out of my rear.
Oh, oh my God, DebS. I see many laughter emojis here. Thank you for making our morning. Here we have some Pam Ayers feeling to it. Oh my God, so good.
That's how they used to happen. And I did go that, I wrote that one when I did have a really prolific, I think it may have been 2 months, and they were just coming in and I was knackered. So anyway, I've had a word with wherever they're coming from, and I now ask them to come through during the day, please, when I've got a moment, rather than at stupid o'clock in the morning.
So good. You have to negotiate the terms and conditions.
I did,
with
yes.
inspiration. Right?
Yeah, very much so.
I love it. So good. Now, my dear DebS, can you say a little about how do you feel this book will help others? Because I know you have written this, of course, to share your story, but there's also a medicine in this book, right, for everyone. And can you say a little about that?
I mean, I hope so. I've mentioned a lot of the therapies that I use to get me through this period of time, a lot of the energy work that I've done. And I think that in itself is helpful. Also, the fact that it's written, I think, will perhaps help people realize that actually, if you write things down, then that is also really helpful. But I just think because it's a real story, it's an ordinary story. I'm not unique, you know. And I just feel that it might make people feel they're not alone, because my depression, the depression I had, I think I just felt really alone, even though I wasn't. For me, it was a very contained place to be. I was in my head all the time. It was like always inside, couldn't see further than my nose. But I know depression is different for different people. So, you know, I just hope that the story will touch a chord with people, really, and will help people. My biggest hope is that they realize that, you know, divorce, depression and suicidal thoughts are not the end of the world. They feel like it at the time. And that's the thing. They feel so real. They feel like it is the end of the world. And obviously for some people, they don't make it. So I just hope that maybe if somebody is in that place and they've read my book or somebody's mentioned it, that, you know, it'll make a change, it'll make a difference. That's really, really what I hope for it.
Beautiful. And I know that they will have a deep experience of recognition and that feeling of not being alone, because I think that was also my experience when reading your story. I had the joy of reading the whole manuscript, and I've also in my life been going through both depressions and very dark thoughts when it was very bad as a young girl. And there's something about taking the shame out of it by talking about it, so you're really doing some deep healing work in this way in the book.
Yeah. Well, I think we're very lucky now. Mental health is a huge, has a high priority now in many, certainly here in the UK. But back then it was something to be ashamed of. It was something you wouldn't talk about, so we have progressed. And I also hope that maybe them seeing my progress and how I've come out through the other side, that will help people realize that actually, yes, it isn't the end of the world.
It's a way shower. It gives a light, this book. So, wow, DebS, as we all can hear and know, all of us who know you, we know that you're a very creative being. So even if this is a milestone today, there's more emerging from your soul, isn't there? What is coming up next?
What's coming up next? Well, I do have to write, this week I have to write 3,000 chapter for a book that I've committed to called The Healing Book Project. I've decided it's going to be called The Power of Words. It's based on the fact that I've written this book and the power that writing those words, but also it's about the power of the words we use, and how we use them, how we talk to ourselves, how we talk to others, the energy of that as well. So yeah, that's next. I mean, gosh, there's loads more that I would absolutely love to happen. I would love my Myth of the Welsh Dragon to be an animated short film narrated by Michael Sheen. I'd love to be a speaker at the Hay Festival. I'd love to write children's books. I don't know.
Oh, it will be a blast to follow your journey unfold, DebS. Can't we just send some hearts and love to all of that? Because you've just begun. I mean, and the way you write, you have come here for more than one book, I'm sure. So I can't wait to follow what will unfold in this.
I have had the thought that I might be here to write other people's stories as well. People that may not feel that they can write them themselves or express themselves. That's something that keeps coming back into my head. We'll see. Watch this space, as they say.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much for this conversation, DebS, and thank you to all of you who have been listening with open hearts, and for all your beautiful comments. And maybe it's time for us to hear a little another snippet. What do you say?
Tidbit.
It's not always easy for me with English. No.
We just learned another word. Tidbit.
A little appetizer.
Yes, a little taster. Okay, so yeah, I will. What shall I do? I think I'll read out an excerpt from the epilogue. Again, I've put some of it to some photographs. So if you just again bear with me, you're going to lose me off the screen, I think, which is probably not a bad thing. Just buzz amongst myself while I be filling in the time. Oh, filling in the time, and there it is, some time. So this is an excerpt from the epilogue, so the last chapter. I was going to do the whole lot, but actually I thought I would just take part of it. A lot of it is actually describing the Brecon Beacons, and I did that for my Creativity Unleashed project. So I thought I would just do the very last part of it. But before I start, I do mention a poem in this bit, written by a young American writer called Maggie Royer. And her poem is called The Morning After I Killed Myself. And it's basically the premise, the emphasis of it is the regret that they did kill themselves and the idea that they had that they would like to undo that action. It's definitely worth a read if you can get hold of it. But a lady called Junie, who unfortunately is not here today, she was going to come, she read it out at a Poems and Pints evening locally, together with a story of her own, where a friend of hers had committed suicide and she didn't know how bad she was, and she'd seen her the day before. And she read this poem and I was in absolute bits. It really, really made me, even now I can feel the strength that it hit my heart with. It made me actually look into that moment when I was driving home over the beacons and that voice came into my head. And the following morning I had a poem called The Day I Didn't Kill Myself, and that's where the name of the book came from. So if she hadn't have introduced me to that poem, again, all these synchronicities. So I just wanted to give you the little bit of background of the poem that I actually mentioned in this part of the book. I spend a lot of time reflecting on life when I'm driving over the beacons. The drive gives me space for my mind to roam, and I find myself connecting to energies and being more in touch with myself. I get time to just be, to appreciate the natural beauty and the wonder of this planet that we live on. I'm reminded of how grateful I am to still be living. This gratitude to still be here, together with a poem written by Maggie Royer called The Morning After I Killed Myself, inspired me to write a poem to celebrate all the reasons that I am grateful to be here. When I heard her poem, it affected and touched me deeply. That poem shone a spotlight on the fact that I am still here and lucky to be so when others aren't. It also made me realize that I'd not actually given much attention to my suicidal thought, to that specific instant when those words spoke to me, urging me to drive over the edge of the mountain. I'd spent so much time working on getting myself out of depression and learning to live again that I hadn't inspected that thought itself or that actual moment, nor given gratitude to the fact that I did not act upon that thought. On hearing Maggie's poem, I was instantly moved to tears, and it induced a deluge of emotion that night and the following day. This outpouring was accompanied by the appearance of my poem of celebration and gratitude for the fact that I am still here and I'm thriving. That poem I wrote led to this book title being born. Another reason I'm grateful that I'm still here and that I am alive. There is life after divorce. There is happiness after thoughts of suicide. There is light at the end of the dark tunnel of depression. There is delightment to be found and reasons to celebrate and make the most of this one precious life we are all gifted with. If I had driven over the side of the mountain, I wouldn't have written this book and decided to delve deeper to release my demons. I wouldn't have been around to experience the life I have had and to learn to love myself, and I certainly wouldn't have been in a position to help others. Whether it was me that chose life or whether life chose me, I'm so thankful that I am still here to celebrate it and explore possibilities and create opportunities. I feel blessed to have been able to make the most of everything that has come my way and to have had the experiences mentioned in my celebratory poem, The Day I Didn't Kill Myself. I once heard a Maggie Royer poem that stopped me dead in my tracks. It hit my heart and halted my breath and rewound my memory back. The morning after I killed myself, in its simplicity, is so strong. It transported me back to my suicidal thought after my whole world had gone wrong. What if I'd actually done it, performed and executed my thought? Think of all the things I would have missed and all the grief this end would have brought. I would no longer see the sun rise or set, or gaze in awe at the silvery moon, or guess shapes in the clouds as they floated by, because I would have been gone too soon. No more time to just sit and ponder, nor meditate in the peace and the quiet, bend and stretch my body in yoga, or wonder whether I should go on a diet. I wouldn't have broken an arrow with my neck, nor walked over extremely hot coals, or realized that everything is energy, nor achieved any more of my goals. I would never have sung on a stage or even believed that I ever could. I couldn't have become a tree hugger whenever I walked through the wood. I wouldn't have had any more fun or know what pottery clay's like to hold, or laughed when it fell off the wheel, or known what it would be like to get old. I wouldn't have met my nephews and niece, felt their soft downy heads with my finger, or seen them grow up over the years, because I decided to no longer linger. I would never have written any poems or discovered that I do have a voice, or realized that our journey has a start and an end, but in between, that we all have a choice. I would never have seen this virus appear and wonder what living really means, to look at my reflection in the mirror and decide I must follow my dreams. Lately, my growth has accelerated as a result of me writing this book. It's uncovered feelings buried deeply. I'm ready now to do more than just look. If I'd gone, I wouldn't have found new passions and special people to help unfold my wings, to bring my words out into the open. I'm so grateful to have unearthed these things. I suppose my recovery truly began the second I chose to stay on that road. An awakening seemed to occur within, though it appeared to be written in code. Each day since has uncovered so much. It's been interesting, exciting, and more. And I'm so looking forward to the rest of my life and loving who I am at my core. Maggie's poem hit me right between the eyes and brought up many a tear, because it reminded me I did not kill myself. And I'm overjoyed that I am still here.
Wow. Thank you so much. And so are we, DebS, overjoyed that you are still here. Thank you for this beautiful sharing. So life-affirming, so deep and so moving. Wow. Wow, what a Friday morning. And thank you everyone for your beautiful comments and for the way you receive these words. This is really touching and so essential. We are so deep into the core of life and death and all the universal things. Thank you so much, everyone, for your beautiful comments. Oh, just sit and shower in this love, DebS. And as you keep writing your comments, everyone, we will go on to a little congratulation round because there are some special people here that we would love to hear a little from. Just a little congratulation, a little word flower. And we will start with giving the word to Mom, of course. So happy to have you here. And
I just want to say, uek. I can lip read.
Yeah, uek. Oh no, I'm really proud of her.
Oh, don't start.
She's come through such a journey. It's not easy. Where's mine, Chris?
I'll send you one.
Dad would be so proud of you too. You've done a great job on the book. I thought it would never ever come to fruition. As you say, you never finish things usually. You dabble in things, you learn something new, and then it's on to something else new, and you don't actually use the things that. But now you've put it all in your book, and hopefully now you really will be helping other people, which I know is really the core of it all, isn't it? So I'm really proud of you, my darling. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh.
Cheers, Mum.
Wow. Cheers. Thank you so much to Mom. And what a moving greeting, and how good it must feel for you to hear this. Do you feel like saying something back, or are you crying, DebS?
No, I'm okay. I was a little bit at the minute. Yeah, I'm okay. Thank you. And thank you, Rog and Kate. I know how busy your lives are, so thank you for supporting me. I do appreciate it.
Oh, beautiful. And let's give the word now to Sandy, if Sandy is here.
Good morning, everybody. I am here, and thank you so much for inviting me to speak today. I'm honoured to be a part of such an auspicious occasion, and grateful that I had a sneak read of the book before today. Deb said I could have 2 minutes, so I'm taking 2 minutes. Debs and I have been friends for more than 20 years, and as you can imagine, a lot can happen in 20 years. There have been highs, lows, tears, laughter, drama, self-doubt, successes and losses. We've been through such a lot in that time, and through it all, what shines out is Debs is such an incredibly kind person and has an innate desire to help people, and she's always looking for ways to add value and to make people's lives better. And I know Debs has a very public face, and many people see her as incredibly self-confident. But for those of us who really know her, we see the vulnerability and the self-doubts and the limiting self-beliefs and the belief she has had in the past that she's not good enough, and the dreaded imposter syndrome. And in the time I've known her, Debs has had countless amazing ideas, and she did just touch on this, but too often her imaginary fears and her belief that she isn't ready has stopped her taking action. And it's amazing to be here today and to see her fulfilling her dreams. Many times over the 20 years, I've wished that Debs would look in the mirror and see what I see. Not only is she naturally beautiful, but her soul radiates a light like a beacon, and it attracts people to her. And her story is inspiring, and her bravely sharing part of it in this book is going to resonate so much with her readers. I'm so truly excited for this book, and also so proud of her. And, you know, she's lovingly known for her need to do just one more course before she's ready. Yet she's written a book and she's published it without signing up to do an advanced proofreading course or a typesetting course. Proof indeed of how far she has actually come in that time. Watching Deb's journey and seeing her blossom into the woman I always knew she was has been incredible. And I love that she's now unleashed her inner lioness on the world. Debs, you are enough. You were always enough. I'm so proud of you today. And I'm honoured to call you my friend, and I'm going to get tearful now. I know that this book will be a huge success. It's well written, it's honest, you worked for it and you deserve it. And I love that you're still finding new ways to inspire people and make the world a better place. I love you so much. That's it from me.
Oh,
sorry, I wasn't going to get emotional, but I am.
Oh, thank you so much, Sandy. Oh, it has been a privilege to have you in my life, and I know we don't see each other very often. We're in different continents now, but always there for you, and I know you've always been there for me. And as I've said, the little thank you in the book, your little witchy intuitions would not have given me this guy, as well as the help from another. But yes, I won't go into the story now, but
so beautiful.
Sandy is part of my meeting this lovely chap, Chris.
Oh.
For anybody that doesn't know him.
Fantastic.
You,
This was true friendship. This was a peek into your beautiful friendship. Thank you so much, Sandy. And thank you, Debs. And welcome to Chris. It's lovely to see you too on stage. Let's all send some hearts to Chris.
Hello. Yes, and I'd just like to say that Debs has worked so hard on this and spent so much time, and I'm really proud of what she's done. And I just hope it's a big success. So, well done.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Chris. What a lovely spontaneous greeting. I love that. You so love Debs. It's so beautiful to experience. And maybe we also have, yeah. Where's the Kleenex?
I always laugh when women do that. I've just done it.
Oh. Do we have Anna here? Because then we will give the word to Anna.
Hi.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I don't really want to go after Sandy because she's kind of said so much that I feel. But I've known Debs for over 20 years, And I knew about the hard times because obviously DebS had explained that to me. But what I was touched with in the book was just the pure honesty in the first few chapters when I wasn't in DebS' life. And I think that will really help people when they read it. DebS has helped me from the moment I met her and continues to do that from 250 miles away. And we will often have conversations around different things where she will always help others. She is such a positive person, and I just echo what Sandy says. Her light shines through her with everything that she does. So I am so proud of you, so proud of you. And it's lovely to see you and Chris together in this tiny little window that I can see, because I know just how happy you are now. I really do know just how happy you are. There's a couple of bits I just wanted to mention about the book, because I read it yesterday and I couldn't put it down. I could not put it down. I was taking my son swimming and I was reading it. I was having food and I was reading it. I could not put it down, Deb. So it was absolutely amazing. The couple of chapters, a couple of parts to me that I started crying in was one of the chapters you said it was the hardest one for you to write. And I can understand that completely. The other one was about our special lady Pip. Having known Pip, having dog sat Pip when Deb was going on many of her weekend courses. She touched everybody. She was such a special little thing. And I'm so glad that you're able to talk about her within the book. Just one last thing I just wanted to say about the book was that it will help people, because your honesty throughout it was fantastic. And when I was reading it, I could hear you reading it. It was your voice shining through. So I just want to say, I haven't got champagne or Bucks Fizz. I've got an empty mug, but congratulations. This is fantastic.
Wow. Being here, I know again you've got a busy life and I know you've not been well, so thank you so much.
So beautiful, Anna. Thank you so much for this heartfelt sharing. And I mean, as a writer, this must be sweet music to your ears to hear about a reader's experience like this, and how irresistible the book is to read and how touching it is. So how do you feel right now?
A little bit overwhelmed, I think, to be perfectly honest. I'm gonna skip over the overwhelming feeling just to explain for those that don't know. I did put Pip was my beautiful little dog. Oh, that's her having stolen my sunbed after where I used to live, and I popped in for a wee or a drink or something, and I came out and she'd actually just jumped up on my sunbed. Yeah, she was my 15-year-old. We were together 15 years. She left us on in 2015. But yeah, so it was my lovely little dog, angel, companion. When you read the book, you will see how much she helped me with my healing.
It's a very beautiful chapter. I like that you highlighted that chapter also, Anna. Thank you for that, because it was very moving to read for anyone who knows about the healing of animals. It's amazing. And wow. Today, my dear DebS, you have a special offer for people seeing this now live or in the replay, right? Just to celebrate the book birthday, the book baby. Can you tell us a little more about how we can get it and what you have for us today?
Yeah, well, I was hoping to have a link to be able to give to you, but because of the hiccups with KDP, which is the self-publishing arm of Amazon, I don't have that. So I will send that to all of you in emails, if you don't mind me carrying on emailing you. But yeah, I'm going to be putting it out there when it comes out. It will be retailing at $11.99, but I will be putting it out for the first 72 hours at $9.99. But also, once this is over, I've got some free software that does a little draw. I'm going to be putting everybody's names in that has made it today, and I will be giving 3 free signed with a personal message, because I'm going to be so famous. No, I'm going to be giving 3 complimentary copies away. So I will individually contact each of you, and I will put it out on Facebook who's won. Those
fantastic.
So yeah, it's just a little gift.
Oh, so you simply make a giveaway, and that's a beautiful way to celebrate. I love that. Fantastic. And thank you for the good price. And I mean, it's a gift, almost, yeah, $9.99 for a beautiful experience like this. So look forward to read the book, all of you. And well, should we give a little time for just like 5-10 minutes, if there's anyone who feel like saying thank you to DebS, who has not already been invited to share, or if any one of you have a question. I think we could take like 10 minutes for that, don't you think, DebS? A little moment. If there's anyone here who feel like sharing, you can just write in the comment field, share, and then you can share either if you have a question or if you feel like expressing your gratitude or how proud you are of DebS. I know many of you here sit with very big warm hearts for DebS and have followed her journey. So, or maybe just want to say thank you for this experience this morning. So feel free. I know we also have some of our beautiful Magical Writers Tribe members here who might have been cheering you on the way. So we have Mary. The word is yours, Mary.
DebS, I don't know what to say. I have only known you for 2 years, and you have been so inspiring. And you could not know this about me, but I also had a moment where I stood at the end of my bed with a fistful of pills ready to take them, and I didn't do it. And so I eventually wrote a book about my experience, and I published it in 2018. And so I can relate to everything you have shared. And I can also tell you that you cannot even imagine the people you are going to touch and the readers that are going to respond to you, and the light that you have become to the world. And I just want to say what an honor and a privilege to be here with you today, and congratulations. I love you so much.
Mary, thank you. Thank you so much. You know, it was an absolute joy doing that project with you, you know, Bruce's project with you, and to have stayed in touch with you since has been phenomenal.
Oh, this is so beautiful. Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much for sharing, Mary. It's beautiful, and I think you are right. This book will really touch many people. So do we have anyone else who feel like saying a little hi and a little thank you or congratulations? Then feel free. We have Sandra here. The word is yours, Sandra.
Hi, just want to say I'm really glad I clicked the link and joined this morning. I think it's been such a beautiful session and so a lovely way to celebrate DebS, your achievement, and just to give recognition to just this human journey and actually the beauty of healing. And I just want to say congratulations, and I'm really delighted and so happy for you. Great achievement, and wish blessings on the book on its journey, on its life, and that all be a happy and joyful experience for you as well.
Wow.
Thank you, Sandra. And you know, Sandra's an amazing writer as well. She's an absolute phenomenal writer, not just a wonderful teacher and friend, really. Let's face it, because you know, I don't know how many times I've been on courses of yours, but you know, it's been wonderful to have you in my life, and you've brought so much to me, and you know, in the healing modalities, but also in your, you are inspirational, because you know, you've had a tough time too, and you keep going, and you use your energy methods just like me to help yourself. So yes, thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. I don't know what the time difference between here and Egypt is.
It's only 1 hour.
America. I mean, you know, I'm gobsmacked to have such an international audience. Turkey. I mean, I think Adrienne is in France, and who else did I see? That we've got Denmark, and
Germany, and yeah.
I mean, flipping heck, who knew I was going to be so international?
Very beautiful. Oh, and we have many here who are saying thank you, and many here who have enjoyed this hour. We are also wrapping up in a moment for everyone who is still hanging in here. It's been such a beautiful morning. Thank you, DebS, for your open heart and for sharing so beautifully about your book. Thank you, Chris, for being her beautiful support. And it's lovely to see you guys together. Oh, and I saw you brought her a drink. It's that's the spirit. I like that. And cheers, everyone. Is there anything we will want to anything you want to say, DebS, before we unmute and say thank you for today?
Well, other than saying thank you, I do actually have a poem of gratitude, and I forgot to say island. I'm sorry, Alice. Forget the places that are closest to us. Yeah, I just want to, from the bottom of my heart, to say thank you all for showing up and for being here with me, and just please share. I mean, I am going to ask you that if and when you do buy the book, the algorithms of Amazon, the way to get to the top, I'm afraid it's reviews. So if you feel that it's worth really leaving a positive review, then please do that, and that will help it rise to the top. It'll help it be more visible. So it's all about the visibility of it. So I would just like to leave by saying thank you, Eva, so much for hosting. I'm so glad that we met at the ETDG conference back in lockdown, and for all the help and assistance that you've given me as well through with just getting this out there, and just your beautiful heart is always I don't know, you shine too. Everybody shines. I love shining. So yeah, I'd like to finish with this poem, if that's okay. It's basically called Thank You for Coming to the Launch. And I wrote this last night. This is how it happens. Thank you all for joining me on this very auspicious date. In gratitude, I've discounted the book to give you a special rate. From the moment it does go live for a whole 72 hours. So please take advantage of the offer. It'll save me buying you all flowers. I'll email you the information as soon as the link is ready. Unfortunately, these things take time, but better to be slow and steady. Whether you buy the book or you don't, I want to thank you from my heart for your support and being here with me, and perhaps seeing a brand new start. A beginning of what? I don't know. Perhaps more speaking, but not a cook. Next, I have to write a chapter for the Healing Project book. A collaboration of many writers who have healing stories to tell. I think mine will be the power of words. Like my book, I hope it will sell. Whatever happens in the future, I want you all to know that your presence here in my life makes my heart swell and glow. I feel emotional that this is happening. Although it never was a dream, it's certainly become a reality. And I feel like a cat that's got the cream.
Oh, no.
Woo! Amazing. Thank you, DebS. What a high note to end this lovely morning in. So, wow, You are a cat who got the cream, and so are we who had the joy to celebrate with you. Thank you, everyone, for your beautiful presence with us this morning, for your open hearts, all your lovely, warm comments. Oh, I think we should just all unmute, press the mic, and say our goodbyes and our I love you. We will all help spread the word, sing the song about this book, and share it with the world, because this is a book that will really make a difference.